Hello and welcome back to Conversations with Sharyn and Rosa. I'm Rosa.
And I'm still Sharyn.
We thank you all for joining us for another episode of Conversations with Sharyn and Rosa. We really cannot do this without you all. So
Truly.
We thank each and every one of you all for coming back. And even for those who watch us intermittently, we appreciate you too.
Truly.
But try to catch up.
No, I mean, y'all don't need to see us every week, but it's good when you do.
Exactly. So, before we get into today's topic and shout outs, we just want to debrief and tell y'all about our weekend. Because it was very
special, good, exciting.
And a lot. That's what I'm going to put on there.
Okay, it was a lot, yeah.
It just was a lot. So Sharyn had her, what do you even call that? Her stand-up?
Yeah, it was stand-up, you know. I returned to a place that I love.
Her comedy stand-up routine.
Yeah.
So yeah, she had 10 minutes and commanded her 10 minutes and did her thing and
wanted 20 more, but
right.
Yeah. But I gotta say thank you very much to Kathy Lewis for making it happen.
Yes.
And I got to be on stage with some very talented comics and
absolutely.
Just it was a good
Everybody
show.
was nice.
Not just because of me, but I would like to think I added to it. But and thank you for my friends who came all the way up there to see us, have fun, buy those expensive drinks, and have some fun with the comedians.
And put all that gas in the ride just to come up there because it's far from us.
It is. It was more than 125 miles.
Yeah,
let's not pretend. You know, gas is outrageous. So if somebody say, "Look, sweetie, I love you, but I'm going look, film it."
Yeah,
because I ain't gonna be there live. So
exactly, I'll try to put some clips here and there on maybe the shorts. Because that's like 30 seconds. Maybe y'all can hear something in 30 seconds. But we'll figure it out. And so to give you all. If not, then I'll just put some pictures up there. I definitely know how to do that.
And I will say this, a special shout out to my wonderful partner, wife, my muse.
Everybody's confused.
My muse and all of that, my Rosa, because she makes everything better in my life. She really does.
Well, outside
what do you mean, yeah? Like you know?
I do. I know that. It's all good. I'm not,
it's like
I'm not
that.
debating that at all.
Oh, it's okay. We're going there.
But before Sharyn's thing that evening, I had to work earlier, so I had to drag Sharyn to work
with her
because it was on the way of where we were going to. So I definitely wasn't backtracking.
So for you people who know the layout of California, she was in Anaheim, but I had to be in North Hollywood, and as they call it, as the people in LA call it, NoHo. NoHo.
It was a NoHo hotel when we had. Anyway, so it was just a long day. It was a long day, and then that was Friday. Saturday we went to Alicia Keys' concert.
Ooh.
Yeah, and really had a good time. And
the concert was fabulous. She is wonderful. Yeah. I have a new respect for her.
Absolutely,
she is talented. I know we know that, but she's talented times 10. Yeah. And to see her perform like that for 2 hours and her band and only one backup singer, and Alicia really was singing.
Right.
Okay,
she did
so
really well.
it was good.
It was a great concert, but not only do I respect her for her music, but just for what she's doing personally in the community and giving so many people
opportunities
room to grow and things to do, bigger and better things.
She's not just a talented artist, she is a good human being.
Absolutely.
And we are lucky to have her in California now. More or less, she is kind of like a neighbor, I'd like to say. But
she lives in La Jolla, so,
and nothing against New Yorkers, but y'all get tired of that cold. So Alicia's out here and just doing some wonderful things already in our community. So great weekend, like Rosa said, fabulous time, very, very busy, and we're getting ready to repeat it because this coming weekend is the Women's Jazz Festival in Palm Springs. Yes, we plan on we're going to be there, and
we're going to be there too. But we forgot to even tell them. So Sunday, because we didn't even film Sunday. Today is technically Monday. We went to the casino, and so came home and just kind of rest for the rest of the day.
Yeah, tired. So that's
Yeah.
what we've been doing, and if that's way too much information, just fast forward it, because today's subject is back to you.
Well, first we have to do our shout out.
Shout out.
So, shout out goes to Thomas Yu. Thomas, we appreciate you being a subscriber. We haven't heard from you. So please, please, please give us a shout out as well. If I shout you out, shout me back out. How about that? Next is TG. Thank you for being a subscriber to Conversations to Sharyn and Rosa. And last but not least is Avery B. We appreciate you. Haven't heard from you either. So I'm going to need you to just raise your hand, say hello, boo, something.
Yeah.
To let us know you there.
Yeah, let us know that you know that we just shouted you out. So, okay.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about manipulative kids. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, we are. Manipulative
So
children. You're happy with your partner. Your partner's happy with you, but the kids ain't. They are not happy.
So we will be talking about
That.
and you all will hear what I think about it.
Whew.
Because I have kids versus Sharon's view with it. So we definitely, each and every time, would love to hear what you all think.
And what you're experiencing, or if you've ever experienced it. But it goes on a lot. And I mean, it's just, we're talking about couples who have children. And not only just have children, sometimes both partners have children. And it ain't a Brady Bunch kind of thing. It's a thing of like, these are my kids, those are your kids. My kids got great manners, yours don't. My kids, all of that.
I wouldn't say that though.
What?
Being manipulative doesn't necessarily mean
No. I'm just talking about sometimes what the layout is. You know what I mean? We'll talk about the children's behavior later.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But today we want to zero in on the things that children do, have done, can do to kind of help unravel your relationship with your partner.
Right.
That's what we're talking about.
Right. And and how people allow it to happen.
Yes.
Because as the mother of that child who wants to get in between you and your partner, or don't really realize they are just by their actions, it is your job to put them in place.
Absolutely. So let's just jump into it. You know what I mean? So we're talking to everybody in lesbian land and beyond, but we are women. Women have children. Women love each other. So sometimes we're talking about that relationship when you have two women having a wonderful relationship, and it does contain children. How do you navigate that? What happens when things ain't warm and fuzzy? So, and the children, they love their mama and they don't like you. Or if you are in a loving relationship with your partner and everything's hunky-dory, then you mix in the children. Sometimes things aren't as wonderful as it could be. Yeah. Matter of fact, sometimes it's downright problematic.
Right.
And to the point that if it gets really times 10 to the left, you almost have to choose. And as I always say, children come first. Children come first.
And it's not good when you have to almost choose. You know what I'm saying? Because, on one hand, you do love your partner.
Of course.
On the other hand,
them your babies.
They are your babies. But I would even just go further, because I understand young kids, because sometimes they're just feeling themselves. So whether you with a partner or not, they're going to test you anyway. Mm-hmm. And it really is your job as a parent to make sure that child is in a stable position, whether it's mentally stable.
Physically, all that.
I'm just saying when they manipulate it is a mental thing, and they just want to see, see who you going to choose first. So, so it is your job to give them that security. But when they become adults, and they start acting the hell up and pulling you this way and that way, and you have a partner, someone you love and someone you've been with,
who's been there for you and the children.
It ain't a new relationship. This is something that's growing. You all trying to do stuff. If it's a new relationship, I understand. But even with new relationships, that's when you have to start correcting them.
That's right. And lay the ground rules, right. You know what I mean? Right. And the expectations.
Right.
So, but sometimes children, they know what they're doing to interfere with your relationship in a negative way, sabotage, cause conflict. play each of you against the other. Or just play their mother, because that's the one who they're emotionally connected with. And, because, as a norm in relationships, moms keep the home together. You know, and so when you have two children, or three or four, or one, I've seen it get ugly. Ugly. And
it's worse with one, because then you feel like that's the only child you got to do what you got to do for. But even in my situation with my children being gone, because towards the end of the high school and all of that, they went to live with their dad. So when they come home, I do want to spend as much time with them as possible. So it's not like, I allow them to get in between Sharyn and I or pull me away. I set time for them. So that's the time we're going to have. Period. Now, let's say that's not the situation. Let's say your child lives, I don't know, in the same town, but they grown and always need to call you to their house because something, I don't know, you fix stuff and something needs to be fixed.
Drama is always on tap.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They having problems with
whatever. Wait a minute, is it 6 o'clock on Friday night? Drama. Is it 10 o'clock on Wednesday? They just want to pull you away because they just want to pull you away. And because they can. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's healthy to set some boundaries, and it's definitely healthy to spend time with your kids. I don't care how grown they are.
Of course.
I don't care how grown they are.
Yeah.
You got to spend time with them. But set boundaries if you're dating, because you need to say, we're going to spend Thursdays together or whatever, go out to lunch and blah, 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 blah. And that's great. I mean, it's still healthy. You can still talk to them on the phone, still do other stuff. But if you have a partner and y'all are spending time together and you live together or whatever the case may be, it's a no-go. Your kids are grown. They out the house. They need to have a relationship of their own where they spending time with their boo, because you trying to spend time with yours.
Yeah.
So
because everybody needs quality time.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right. And I never wanted it to become a contest as to, that push me, I'm pulling her and they pulling you the other way.
Yeah.
And I thought we were going to go to dinner with our friends and be there at 6 o'clock. Well, I can't because she's got a headache now. Or, I think she's got a fever that she's faking. Or whatever. It's always something.
See what's going on with her, whatever. But I must say that when Sharyn and I got together,
oh, you gonna talk about that?
When Sharyn and I got together, my children were a lot younger, and when I say, it's our job as parents to make sure they are well rounded, and mentally is part of that. Mental is part of that. So you don't want them to feel like somebody has taken their place. That's number one. But at the same time, you don't want your partner to feel like you don't give them enough time. So what do you do when you're that person in between the kids and the partner? Like, how is that making you feel? I mean, you're getting pulled from both directions, as Sharyn just referenced earlier. You're getting pulled from both directions. So for me, it was very hard trying to figure out how I was going to
navigate this scenario.
And my blessing was that the fact that the kids really decided that they want to go with their dad. You know what I'm saying? So that helped a whole lot, because I really was struggling with trying to figure that out. And I know me, I would have figured it out eventually.
Yeah.
But at the same time, at what expense? It would have cost me probably something, more like I'm just tired of it all, or whatever it may have been. And you don't want to get there. You want to be able to, in a perfect world, have that perfect relationship, but sometimes you just can't. And
what relationship is perfect?
Right, exactly.
Right.
And but so in my case, I think it just worked out for the best. Kids are still happy. Sharyn and I are definitely happy, and the relationship is growing. I mean, I still talk to my kids any and every day I want to. They call me when they want to call me. I call them when I,
FaceTime and plan vacations, all of that.
And my daughter, I talk to her at least 3 times a day.
At least. You sure she's gone? I think she's around the corner. Mom, what you cooking?
You would think, a college student her age got other things to do, but she really takes time out to, call her mom, which is really good. And I'm happy, and I embrace it because I know it's not going to last forever.
No.
I know it's going to be a time where she's going to get busy with her boo, whatever they doing, and she ain't got time with her mom. but she's dating and she still has time for her mom, which I am very excited about. So,
Well, may
but-
I? Can I? Let me see. I'm going to tell that story from my perspective.
yeah, so that was my perspective. I found it hard. What about somebody who you are in a relationship with and the kids are pulling you in both directions?
Right, and
So
I
how
think
do
that's
you
what
feel?
happened.
Yeah.
Well, so from being you spilling out tea, I come into her life, 2 children, and that's not what I was in line for,
Right.
So I had to get ready because 1, I've never had children, 2, I've never had children, 3, I wasn't looking for any. Okay, let me be clear. So, but I'm really feeling Rosa, and I'm like, the kids come through, they come with the package. It's like, egg rolls. Egg rolls come with that. So I think that's
know
funny.
what?
I think that's funny. But anyhow, so here we go. The kids were what, 9 and 12?
Something like that.
Ish. Little man's younger, and daughter is right there at that age, pre-teenager. That's an interesting time for girls. Okay, it just is, as they become young ladies, and and right when they start challenging you that you don't know as much as I know everything now. I read a book
Them
and I know
their
everything.
best friends know it all.
Know it all. So with that, this was like being on like a different planet. But okay, I bought the ticket, so I'd take the ride. And I learned a lot of things about myself. I'm going to say this because we've had a conversation, so Rosa doesn't know what I'm going to say, but she has some idea how I felt. I thought, the kids were this close to being spoiled. They were so close to being spoiled, I couldn't tell the difference. So that's just me, because here she was a, single mother of 2. Had been divorced for several years, right? So I'm the intruder. I parachute into their world. And it's little things like, the daughter being older, she's always, sits up front next to her mother. I come to the relationship, she gets relegated to the back seat with her little brother, and I sit up front. I mean, I know that sounds trite, but it's
It's the small things, right?
It's mom fixes heart-shaped pancakes on Sunday morning. I'm not a heart-shaped cook. Okay, so but though I will say, if mom don't feel like cooking, let's go out to a restaurant. I'm your restaurant babe. You know what I mean? Dishes. So it was just a lot of differences. And when I thought of like, okay, it's Friday night, let's go out. And then I'm thinking, oh gosh, when I say date, I think of, just me and Rosa. But little changes, big changes. It's a thing of the kids are used to running into mommy's room early in the morning. And, the house is big enough, but 3 bathrooms, but little man wants to use mommy's bathroom. I had to redirect him. He didn't like that. So it was 100 little things.
Right.
And I realized I'm joining them, they didn't join me. So it was a little tight there. And Rose already told you, our son has he's on the spectrum. So, I'm really trying to communicate with him, and I know he communicates differently or just a little different. And so I gotta, go to his planet and, try to connect with him too. You know what I mean? So it was not easy for me. It was definitely not easy for Rosa. And surely I was not the first woman in her life. However, I think my personality is full strength. And, some people like really welcome children, like, come on, let's play horsey. Oh, let's go to the zoo. Oh, let's blow bubbles. And I'm not a bubble girl. So with that, I learned a lot of things about myself. I had to recalibrate, and I will tell you, it was not easy. I will say this, that we almost didn't make it. Mm-hmm. Is that not true?
Yes.
We almost didn't make it.
True.
And it wasn't because she wasn't feeling me or I wasn't feeling her. We dug each other, and that's what was going to make it so sad, because I said, I cannot reinvent myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not asking her to. And the children come first. So now, so it worked out. God is wonderful. Ooh, we're here. We're together. So as we speak about, we were able to navigate it, if you will, and things happen. And, the timing was incredible.
Right.
But what happens if the children are a little older, a little wiser,
Right.
a little devious? They know, when they intentionally do things to thwart your relationship or your activities. And we had one scenario, we knew a couple where the daughter was so devious, she was faking illness.
Yeah. I
Oh,
remember that.
remember that? I mean, fake, and I don't mean like, oh, gee, mom, I got a headache.
No,
I
she
don't mean
was
that. She was faking illnesses.
right.
And the mother was just like, she was just like overcome by it all. The partner, the partner, her partner was didn't know what to do, and
I think
she
too-
intentionally hold on. She
Yeah.
intentionally set about to separate them, to alienate the woman, the other woman, and she did declare victory because they did break up.
They did break up.
They broke up, and the girl was a little liar. She was who?
And she was high school age. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. She wasn't no
like,
Kitty City 9, 11,
junior,
12.
going
Right.
into senior
Yeah,
year.
she knew what she was doing.
Exactly. But I must say too, it's easier. Like I can't even imagine, my kids even doing something like that. But if they're doing something like that, and you are the mom trying to figure out what's going on with your child, that's the first thing you're focused on. If you have a partner, it's easier for them to see more so from the outside. Like, how about she faking every time at 11 o'clock p.m. this happens? You know what I'm saying? Like, they can see it more objectively than, the mom or the parent can. I mean, so I can't even imagine, like, her voicing her opinion about maybe the girl may not be telling the truth, because as a mother you don't want to hear that. You just want to, your daughter is quote unquote sick, you took her to the doctor, they can't really find anything wrong,
Then they took her to specialists,
diagnosing her.
and right. I mean, it was quite dramatic.
Right.
It really, really was, and to the point that psychologically, I thought the girl was incredibly devious.
Yeah.
Incredibly.
Because they was taking her to the wrong doctor, probably.
Well, it wasn't just she need to see that doctor and those two over there.
Right.
Because I felt like if you're doing this at 14, 15,
right,
girl, I'm scared. I don't even want to be around her at 17, 18.
I wouldn't even want to be one of her friends.
Yeah. So in any event, and that's not to be dramatic about it, but that is a very dramatic event, but example.
But
accurate,
it happens.
I know, accurate example of it. So back to lesbian land. If you guys are out there and you got a wonderful woman and y'all trying to work it out, and she got kids who really don't, they trying to work you out of it, you do need to acknowledge it. Because it's never imagination, you know what I mean? And my fear was, I'm like, oh my God, with the kids, because they're old enough to order pizza and stuff, and they know how to use a credit card. I'm like, suppose they just make up some lie. You know what I mean? And I got to explain that your kids are lying. My children don't lie. They're angels. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to tell you where they hide their wings. What? They wicked little people. So I didn't have that experience.
If that's the children you have. Not
right. And you didn't. The kids are good.
That.
But some people do have that. And so how do you remedy this? If, because I say everybody ain't out there skating figure eights and being so happy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, because remember, it's difficult for the new woman coming into the relationship. It's even difficult if she has children. But sometimes she has children, but her children are grown and gone. Your children may be grown and should have been gone.
Right.
Because, see, that scenario comes in,
but
too.
That's just different parenting. Like, you could have had children.
You say different parenting. I just say it's just a different situation.
No, I know. But I'm saying if I'm with someone who I think their child is very manipulative and always trying to do, like, small stuff, but I also have grown kids around that age who's not, it's just different parenting. You think that everybody's child should act like yours, and because you think that you did the best parenting, right? So, I mean, it's like a two-way street, because that person who has that child is doing all that probably think they did the best job too. So
Yeah, well, you did the best you could with what you had. I don't doubt that. I'm not beating anybody. Look, I know parenting is difficult, but because I have been out there a long time and I surely have met a lot of women with children, I remember when I went to, this was maybe even a second date, the girl says, well, do you want to meet my children? I said, no, a picture will do. I mean, because one, I might not even see you get, this is our second date. We might not be a third. I don't need to see him. And you ain't, you know what I mean? You got to start bringing them candy and so, but to show you how, the other side of that street is I've dated women who didn't even let me know they had children or didn't speak of their children until things got a little bit more.
Right.
A little more on down the line.
Right.
So I get that too because I'm no Mary Poppins. You know what I mean? And, so like, oh, let's get together and spend the weekend at Disneyland, says no one that I know.
Right.
But if you do it, that's your thing. But I'm saying I'm not that person. So if you are in a situation that you got some devious children doing some nasty little things and their mother think they're angels.
Right.
Definitely, what mother doesn't think her child's an angel? But I mean, you have to deal with that. So, do you confront it? Do you talk about it? And as we always say every week, it starts with a conversation.
Absolutely.
It starts with a conversation.
Well, for me,
which is not an easy conversation.
Right.
Okay.
Well, for me, that's kind of not where it starts. It starts where you have to talk to the mother because sometimes the thinking could be the same. And that's where the child is getting the behavior from, so.
Give me an example of what are you talking about?
Like, let's talk about the example we gave them with our friend who had a daughter who was faking the illness. Mm-hmm. Well, her mother had some issues. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, doc, this is a 2-for-1. Keep the daughter, but talk to the mother.
I'm not even joking on it because her mother really did have some issues. And, in her previous relationships, she would say, things that happened. And when she was, talking about previous relationship, I'm looking at her like, I think it might be you. But, you don't say stuff to people.
You can't say that, right.
But I'm just saying that to say, that girl, her daughter got that information from somewhere. You just don't up and say, oh, let me fake sick. Now, if she was faking sick when she was younger and the mother catered to her and always put everything else on the back burner, in her mind, she's like, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Or if the mother did something like that when she was with
and
people.
she observed it. Yeah, it could have been. It could have been.
Sometimes it's the behavior, and you have to, know your partner.
As we said, mothers are our first teachers.
Absolutely.
The good, the bad, the ugly, the crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean? How some kids know how to roll a joint.
Right.
They didn't get that on Nickelodeon. Okay.
Because I've dated, a woman who actually had children my kids' age. And, I see the way they parent. But, you don't want to correct people's parenting because you think yours is number one. You know what I'm saying? I just know, I'm just like, okay, but my kids won't be doing that.
Right.
Go ahead and do it, And then you see these kids grown up and you're like, I know why they have what they have, those issues, because the parents.
Yeah. So I still default to it does start with a conversation because often
But it stops with observation. But you got to know your partner. You need to see the behavior of who they are.
Right. And I've dated women who have some very respectful children and polite, great manners, and all of that. You know what I mean? Wish she had a twin. And then there's some that I'm just like, oh my goodness. And you know how you can see a person's, how the old folks say, you can see where they're going. You see them at 7, 9, and 11, and you say, oh my God, he's gonna be something else at 12, 13. Like we have another child in our life who, I'm not gonna say he scares me, but I am concerned for him because of the behaviors that he's displaying already.
But that's his mama.
I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Uncle JoJo. I'm telling you that the behaviors we see, if they don't nip it in the bud right now, that boy it's going to be a difficult road for him. But see, when the parent...
It really is. But when you look at his mother, you get better understanding as to
you
why
can understand the source, but the impact is still the same. I don't care where he got it from and why they're tolerating him. The world's not going to tolerate him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You see some people that like you can't take that act on the road.
Right.
You take this act and keep it right here, because that's the only people who going to love you enough and love you past it.
Yeah.
So but staying on track. Here it is. It's never easy. Some things are just not as problematic as others.
Yeah.
I mean, when I meet women and say, well, she got 2 kids, she had 2 girls, I had a boy, and we got together and it was a wonderful family. That is so sweet, and you are lucky.
Right.
You're much more than
worked out for you.
Right. And so many times it doesn't. Their kids are, don't clean up behind themselves. My kids won't go to bed unless they do the dishes first. Right. Excuse me, do your homework, do the dishes, and TV is off at 9.
Right.
You know what I mean? When some people have no structure. Right. They do what they want to do. I mean, quite frankly, I have a problem if we don't sit at the table and eat together. Right. That bothers me, because I'm like, even jail allows you to eat with people. You know what I mean? You don't get your plate and go up to your cell. You know what I mean? So I'm old school, and then that could be, part of it too. You're dealing with a partner who has different values, different ideas. They were raised differently. They different, and different doesn't mean bad, but if different is incongruent to the values that you and your partner now have, it's going to be a problem.
Right.
So how do you handle it? You have to acknowledge it. Mm-hmm. You got to not like, sweetie, I love you, and I know you love me times 2. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it seems like the only time we ever have harsh words or argue with each other is about the children, and that is that of course you do. Right. That's one of the 2 things that couples argue about the most: discipline of the children and finances. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you got your finances okay, or at least don't raise hell about it, you know what I mean? It's usually it's the kids. Right. So in any event, you must acknowledge that a problem does exist. You and your partner need to find out what's really important. How we're going to run this rodeo.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And please back me up. It's just that if you say, no eating, after 8 o'clock, no eating after 8 o'clock, right, no snacks after 8 o'clock, or whatever it is.
Or if you have, like I was saying earlier, if you have that grown child that's out of the house, you need to set boundaries. Like, this is, you can call me anytime, because emergency can happen at any point. Right. So you're not putting restrictions on phone calls, but at least let them know, if you want me to come over and spend time with you, let's watch a movie, let's go to a movie, let's do this, let's do our usual. Pick days so that you and your partner can understand what days you'll be spending it with your child, and they don't have an attitude, because they already know that's put in place. And what days you'll be spending it with your partner, because you can't allow your kids to run your life. When they become adults, they need to, clear their own paths.
Yeah, and they do it because you've given them permission. Because
absolutely. And it didn't just start.
Right, that's true.
If
you have boundaries, you haven't really enforced them.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Or just like, me and Lamb Chop, and the wifey poo, we get ready to go to Hawaii, and that's right when 2 days before then your daughter is everything but faking her death. You know what I mean? Like, right. Well, because she ain't coming with you. Right. That's one.
Or
so number
she
2,
might be at this point, because like you never took me, and every time you got to go somewhere, you go, why can't I go? So now you're feeling like, damn, so I'm going, we already going, let me just buy her a ticket too, or him a ticket, or whoever the child is. I'm just saying, as a mom, you're not gonna be like, okay, when we get back, you and I gonna go. It's just not gonna happen.
No, right.
You're gonna try to make it work.
But I took you to Atlantic City. I took you to San Francisco.
I
took you to you know what I mean? You don't get to go on this one.
Yeah.
Or you say you got Hawaii money? Or do you have Dubai money? Or our friends who just came back from Dubai, or wherever you going, it's gonna cost money, and they don't even have a paper route.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But you should have explained to them the cost of things too, so it's not a shock. Like, you need to talk real world to your children, because you want them to act real world, and the world shouldn't shock them when they go out that door at 18, the day after their 18th birthday.
Right.
My mother, she didn't, as my mother said, I didn't put y'all out, but I made it inconvenient for you to stay.
Right. And that's what sometimes we have to do.
I made it inconvenient.
Make it available. Y'all, we getting ready to go in because it's starting to rain out here.
Oh, but
Just
we
so
have
you
that
know.
anti-rain.
But our equipment is not anti-rain.
No, but we need to wrap it. Just give it a couple more minutes.
But I'm saying that to say, your mother, like she said, she didn't put you out. But I think sometimes we do put our kids out before they are ready. Because we didn't do what we should have done at the beginning to get them ready. And now we thinking just because a number is here, 18 don't mean that they are ready. Everybody's not ready at 18. Some people are even ready to go at 16. But some people are not ready to even go at 18.
20,
and
25.
some people are not ready to go at 25, although they should be. But
I default to my, let's not forget what the nature's plan is. As parents, you are supposed to be raising your children and preparing for life without you.
Absolutely.
It's the law of nature.
So if your child is calling you over to his house every weekend and knowing you want to spend time with your boo because you don't worked all week, then you got to prepare that child to what's going to happen if I'm not there.
Right.
You can't be running over there because that's going to cause probably the death.
All the time.
Just trying to get over the stress.
Right. And you say, well, I know y'all have y'all Wednesday, Thursday, and guess when the car falls apart? Wednesday or Thursday. And Mom, can you come get me? And while you're at it, can you buy me a battery? And while you're at it, and it's just like, when do your kids become grown or self-sufficient? Right. And I don't want to say that you failed if they don't, but I will tell you that you're not doing them a favor because we know nothing's forever. Absolutely. Any one of us can leave at any time without notice.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because so then now you left your kids, they flopping around because it's just like, well, Mom always did it for me at 26.
Exactly.
I don't fault him. I fault the mother.
Absolutely.
But it's not about the blame game.
We got neighbors who got grown kids and they still bring their laundry over and their mama washes it, and I'm like,
okay, that works for them. Does not work for me. Does not, and and so right. So in any event, so it does get problematic. We can't give you an example on all scenarios, but if you're living in one, please let us know because we want to know how you're handling it. Yeah. Because I've always felt like I had to be in charge of what I'm in charge of, and your house, my house, our home. Guess what the chain of command is. The chain of command is you need to follow the chain, babe. I just don't ken to treating adults like children. Yeah. I'm not one, I'll cook for you till you're about 12 or 14, but I'm teaching you how to cook. Because when Mom's not here, I don't care if you burn a hot dog, you're going to eat something.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? And because
I think it's just boundaries on both ends, really.
Oh, gosh,
you just have to have boundaries with the kids and boundaries with your partner.
And not just boundaries, but the boundaries come in after we talked about the expectations and everything. Because one thing, and if you want to go back to our example, I know you did some you spent some time talking to the children about, what life is going to be now.
Sharyn's here to stay.
Yeah, so right, and I'm
get used to it. Right. And let's all just try to figure this out, and try to do it together.
And I'm not renting a room.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So it took a little time, and one of my friends put a bug in my ear and said, "Sharyn, don't worry, they do get older." You know what I mean?
Not gonna be small for you.
Right. So now they like 16 and almost 20. I'm liking them a whole lot more,
and now, you don't want them to get older and now have to continue to need you so much. And that's the whole thing. Like, you want them to be like, Mom, I just want you to be happy and, enjoy your life. Make life less stressful for you than more stress. When they know that they're causing stuff when they're to even put you in that predicament as a mom, as a parent, then something going on with your child.
Well, as I said, quite frankly, like, when do you take them off the tit?
Right.
You know what I mean? And like I said, but then some mothers do create that. Like, he's always going to need me. No one cooks for him like I do. You know what I mean? Like I said, if you don't come home no more, he's going to have to make some arrangements.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
that's the last thing you want your child to be, unable to
function by themselves without
out
you
in the world, because that is like my whole stressor is
Yeah.
to be like, am I doing the right things? Am I saying the right things? Am I guiding them towards the right direction? You know,
Yeah.
because if I leave tomorrow, I just want to know that my kids will be okay, or set a village up that will take on some of those
Yes, yes.
responsibilities.
You've done a good job of that.
And
Yeah.
even if, as a mom, if your child is keep calling you out, set it up with somebody else. Maybe if you got a sister in town, be like, girl, can you go over to Kiki's and see what she want? Because she apparently, you know what I'm saying? Like, just set
Exactly.
that village up. Because, if she's, close, or he's close to his aunt or whatever, send them over there sometime.
That's right, and it does take a village, you know what I mean?
Send them over there.
But our focus today was, like I said, children who they know what time it is, they know
Right.
the dynamics of your relationship. They may be envious, resentful, or why y'all in the master bedroom and you in that bathroom?
Right.
Because you have one right down the hall. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
But sometimes, even with conversations and boundaries, it's just not going to work, because if they don't like your partner, they just don't like your partner. That's just it, and it could be just as simple as that. The kids could be great kids,
That's
was
true,
great
too.
the whole time they grew up, but now you with this person that they just don't like. It is
Well, I would say
nothing
this.
you can do.
Okay, now you're absolutely right. But see, what happens when you love me, I love you. The kids don't dig me and do everything in their power. You need to see the difference. Like, are they
Yeah.
just tripping me? Are they making stuff up?
Right.
Or every time we try to go somewhere, they come up with a situation that will take you away from me. Like, well, who's going to take me to the baseball game? Well, who's going to take me to play soccer? Well, who's going to drop me off at the movies? Well, you know what? First of all, you ain't going to all three.
Right.
Okay, because my schedule doesn't allow me to do all three.
Now, or have your partner taking them one or two of them,
Yeah.
or you know what I'm saying, or if they grown and calling you over there, have your partner go over there to see what's wrong. I mean, they eventually have to get a relationship with them, or they gonna have to make some arrangements to figure it out.
Wait a minute, or not.
Right.
Right, and when kids pull that Joker card, I'm thinking about leaving. Open the door for them. Do help them, do that last load of laundry.
She's so wrong.
No, you know what I
so
mean,
wrong.
sweetie? It's rough out there. And, they sitting there like, she really going to let me go. Right. Not only, if you give me an address, I'll take you there. You don't even have to Uber. I will zip your ass over there. So, but in any event,
so
you can tell I've never had children.
Right.
So listen, I hope we gave you some things to think about, because it's not easy out there,
No,
with
it's
you're
not.
out of partner, raising children, making them whole, healthy, respectful, kind, and cognizant of what's really important. So
Right.
I hope we, I don't know, this is good. The conversation went a different way, but I'm loving it.
Yeah.
You guys, we're waiting for you. We'll take your questions now. Okay. And me and Rosa made it. Look, the kids are still alive.
They are alive. We're
And
still
they are
together.
thriving.
We're doing our thing. But before we go, I just wanted to remind everyone that in December we are taking a break. If you didn't see the last episode where we announced that, so we will announce that
All of December.
She says every
No, seriously. The
I
first
just
to the
think we need to do
31st.
at least 1 week in December, and then take off. Who takes off like a month from work?
Because we can't, we do.
Not saying it's work. It is kind of work. It's non-paid
No, it is work. No, right. We enjoy what we do,
Yeah.
but we need a rest. It's been a very high impact year. It really, really has. So what we're gonna do? We sign off at the end of November, and we'll see you guys anytime at the 1st of January, 2023, God willing.
Absolutely. And if you're celebrating a birthday in the month of December, November and December.
Right. So we're talking about Scorpios and Sagittarius. And did we forget the Virgo? I mean, seriously, all of you. So we're talking to all of you. We didn't want to, discriminate at all, because all of you are our people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't play favorites. But I love Aries. So listen, as always, take your time, and just we're always out there wishing you the best.
Of all good things, stay safe and stay woke. And thank you again. We love you.
Times 2.
Bye.